So I think from the screen someone just asked one volunteer for the team, but I think the match already start because both teams agree that they're ready. So I think this is still a fair factor to start. Otherwise, both teams should not agree that they are ready for the match, and every other team is also ready and preparing and try to have that match. I'm really not sure what is really happening when they sign up the tournaments and they are not able to make it, and we are always having some volunteers problem. But I think Alexander and this Tanya, both of them is trying to play some one-on-one at this moment. So the rules is still the same from yesterday. Each members they will have 2 airlift, whether they use it during the fight or they are siege down. As long as they use the airlift, that will be count. And if there is no more any teammate on this particular area, on this village, about 60 seconds, then their team will consider disqualified and consider defeated by the other team. So now we are seeing Team Farmer. He tried to do a one-on-one, but his team also try to help with this 61 and Tanya. Maybe 61 and Tanya think about one-on-one supposed to be more fair, and that's how they try not to do 2-on-1. But Alexander also try to do his siege with this super heavy. That is not anything seriously problem by now. Alright, so we really put all the tag, and hopefully both team being able to join. So let's remove these 2 tag because that is not really needed at this moment. And I believe the match and the war is already started for them. So let's just finish it. So now nothing seriously. Everyone just try to watch at this is about maybe 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, but I think 61 is being a very gentle that not trying to interrupt these 1-on-1 matches. And because I'm aware that team Matt that they are not very strong by 67 million power, that's why I also asked Team Farmer go to XYT2 instead of let them stay in XYT1. But now it's more about 1-on-1. But I think if they know how to play, Alexander still have a chance to win. But I would say the problem is that this Alexander, he might having a problems. Even though he successfully win this Tanya, he still have a problem about fighting the other fella with 54.5 million powers. That is one of the issue. So, but we also let's take a look how they fight about this 1-on-1 at this moment. Even though this is a team fight, but now being converted to become 1-on-1. Anyway, let's put this tag to the other side, not to really blocking our view that our can't see anything at all. Alright, so we can see that Alexander base is go down about 30% already, and then he have about 1 full groups that go down to red. But Tanya, he also have his super heavy down. At least he trade off about 30% of the enemy base. This is about 1-on-1. So the more you trade off, of course, it's the more better, because this tournament is all about how you can kill the other side base first instead of you trying to do anything else. Right, so there's nothing any surprise thing to be happening at any moment now, because both of them is also try to wait for their super heavy to be recruit back. After that, they will try to do the swamp or the siege, because this is just a 1-on-1 it's not considered swarm, but just a siege and just about attack. So that's supposed to be the game now. But this fight, clearly we can see the advantage on this Tanya. He having the 70 million point 3 powers, and then the other side having 67. Actually, just about 3.3 million power difference. But if you play correctly, you also can see how you can make the war, make the fight being turned around and become your benefit. But the best thing of this team farmer is that they're having this kind of benefits that try to have a 2-to-1, but they try not to do that and try to have 1-on-1 instead. So I think that is quite fair. Give up their benefit, give up their advantage to do 2-on-1 instead of just do 1-on-1. I think that's very good for this friendly match, and also good for the tournaments that everyone try to improve their skill instead of trying to win. That is very kind, I would say. So now that Alexander have a light tank, he try to kill the archeries from Tanya. He not really worried about that. He know that trade off the enemy base is the main object, so he really go into that even though his archery is dying, but he's still saving 2 groups inside his base, so the Alexander can't do the free kill just to take off some of the Tanya base HP. But Tanya this time is not doing very well, because from 30% I think he take about another 8%, but he die about 2 group of the archeries. His super heavy is not dying, just about 80% still inside the base, supposed to be okay. But trade off about 8% is not very good for 2 archeries dying. So definitely he can use some of the 2 groups to set it outside the base, might try to do some support or something, but he not doing that. Alexander also try his best to defend just now, but he using light tank to defend the the archeries is not also what very defensive move. But anyway, if Tanya successfully try to stitch the target on this light tank just now, so that is also give some benefit to Alexander, because his space is activated just now, so he will buy more time for his archeries to do some counter attacks. But now Alexander try to do counter attack with super heavy, and his super heavy also very strong, and he have 2 strong archeries as well, so Tanya have to really be some defensive. But his group is still red. That is one of the problem. Maybe he not recruiting or not recruiting fast enough. But definitely Alexander can't do any more damage. He's just worried about his super heavy going to die and his archery is going to die. That's why he tried to be some of defensive. But you can see he only trade about 4% or maybe 8% of this Tanya HP. Is not very good deal. If keeping this kind of situation, I think Tanya will win this 1-on-1 fight. Otherwise, Alexander do some very surprise counter attack or kill Tanya troops that he can siege or empty space. But I don't see that anything happening now. And Alexander base keep on going down, almost like down to 60% HP. But I think he more than 60% by now. So we'll see what is going to happening later on from this match of Team Farmer versus Team Matt. So at this moment, both members, they also try to get their full troops back. So you can see Tanya is continuously train back his troop, and Alexander is almost max his troop already, but he's still not doing anything at all. And his base definitely is burning, and he's not doing enough damage to this Tanya. So he should really find a way that can break through this kind of situations. Not going to be getting anything disadvantage again. Otherwise, he might lose this 1-on-1 fight. So Tanya tried to do another siege, and this time he only using 1 archery instead of using 2. And he also tried to retreat his super heavy. That also some of the play. So he did kill some of the enemy base HP, but that is very less, about 1 to 2% maybe, because he's still having a lot of HP in this Alexander base. And Tanya having 2 groups down. Finally, Alexander tried to do some counter attack and some siege as well. So Tanya really need to do some defense. So now definitely try to do defense and take off half of the Alexander groups down. But that is still not enough. So I would say both of them still have a lot of room to improve. And this 61 definitely become audience. I mean, he just tried to watch from the side. So the real challenge is that Alexander base going down too much. If he even though having some miracle to win Tanya, but his base is just too low to fight another full HP enemy base, that is not going to happen. That's why he really have to do more than just continuously to defense. Otherwise, his defense has to be very good to make sure the enemy doesn't take too much of his base HP, and he can do some counter attack as well. Because if you forever try to defend but your base still are taking some of damage, over time your base will go down even though you kill a lot of enemy reserve, but you still lose the tournaments, because the tournament is all about how you remove the enemy base on this particular village land. So that is the main problems that they should really try to improve, and how to keep their base alive. Basically, this kind of practice we can also try to think about when we try to build our CC, or we try to save our building village, and we might having this kind of situation a lot of time when the enemy try to come in and you have to defense and you try to remove them. Otherwise your building won't go to build and forever just hold there. That's the problem. So this is about similar to real fight and real situations that we have. So improving your one-on-one skill definitely will help you to win this game over time, because you have to understand how you can win and overplay your enemy instead of do everything exactly the same same style or same skill, because that sometimes it works, sometimes might not, because the meta of the game is keep on changing. So now you can see Tanya is being the offensive side. He always try to offense when he have a full troops. Even though Alexander having a full troops, he also not trying to do that. So he are being very defensive. If he continue to do that, his base can't really afford more than loss, So when he have some of the mistake, being use his archeries to attack too quick, that's why the base try to aim his archery instead of aiming his super heavy at all. So you really have to work out some of the timing to use your super heavy to tank, and let your super heavy tank most of the damage, and use your archeries to take off some of the enemy HP, but also not to let your archeries go down too quick. Now the enemy base is activated, definitely is not a good time to do the attack, but anyway he still do that. And now Tanya do some defense. He definitely have to go back to retreat from Alexander. Then I will say this time defense Tanya doing a very good job to chase back Alexander, and he can do a counter attack because his base is definitely activated. So both his troops inside the base can do a lot of damage like now, and then his archeries continue to kill the enemy base as well. So definitely he can trade more than what he should have. That's why you can see Alexander having 2 groups totally down, and then having 3 groups inside the base. But Tanya does not so worry about that. He continuously to siege, and I think this technique is very good for one-on-one. And my truck going back to my base that asking me to send for resources. So let me do that very quick. And just go back to the match. So both of them definitely doing some of the recovery and recruit back their troops to become a full troops. So but from this one-on-one, we can clearly see that Tanya's skill is a little bit better than Alexander, because the first thing is that Tanya can play a little bit aggressive, and he know how when to retreat, and also when to attack. Now he is not the best time, even though his archery is dying, but he know he can siege some of the enemy base, and he also use archery to kill some of the enemy archeries. So that even though his archery is going down, but enemy also doesn't have archeries to do a counter attack, so that he are buying some time. But now Tanya dying just too much. His super heavy is totally wipe off already, so he have to wait for the super heavy a little bit longer time. Then he have two group of archeries going down, but Alexander having the same situation. He have two group of archeries going down as well, so both of them can't do any counter attack at all. But the problem now start is because Alexander base is on the yellow, and this Tanya is still about almost brand new base, and so even though the answer of this Alexander having some kind of a very good skill to overcome, he still can't fight 61 with a brand new base, even though it's not very strong. But 50 over billions definitely can help, so that this 61 is trying to show that he is the cheerleader team, to come to do some of the like round 2 or round 3. So please prepare, and not to forget he is one of the teammate as well, but he choose not to being unfair to fight some of the team that their member is not coming during this match. So I think Alexander doing very good to use his light tank to kill off the Tanya archeries. Tanya not using anything inside his base to support his archeries, then kill this light tank. I think that is a little bit misplay from just now. But he also asked his super heavy to be retreat. That is correct, because your archeries going down, you no need to let your super heavy to die for nothing. But Alexander, he also tried to use his best time to defend, but always defend your base while going down like 2 to 3%, 2 to 3% over time. Your base will go down if he doesn't want to do anything at all. You can see Tanya base still brand new, even though he doesn't have a lot of troops to defend now. And Alexander doesn't want to take this opportunity to do a counter attack. So I think both of them also try to save two group of the troop inside his base to be able having some defense. But sometimes your troop inside your base is like totally useless if you doesn't use them at all. So at some point, you really need to think about when to use them to do some pressure, instead of letting them stay in the base do forever sleeping. That is not helping at all. Otherwise, your base is activated, then you should let them stay inside the base to become very safe. Alexander's now doing some counter attack. Let's see what he can do and how Tanya can defend this. So Alexander is not using even any archeries, so definitely Tanya is doing a very good job. You no need to react until any archery is showing up. So definitely Alexander doing a very I'm not sure say very bad job, but it's not good things to do, because you want to win one-on-one. Definitely you do not want to activate your enemy base without a reason. Now if you activated enemy base, if enemy try to being very aggressive to put his super heavy out or even put his archeries out, definitely his base can kill anything, try to aim the Tanya troops. And now the base is activated, instantly can kill this Alexander super heavy. So that is not a good time to do this double siege within when the enemy base is activated. When you activate it accidentally, you should really wait the enemy base to become deactivated. When your super heavy try to attack the deactivated base, definitely the deactivated base will take about 2 seconds before they will be activated. That is how you can gain more second and more advantage. If the base is activated and you try to attack during the activated time, the base instantly will react and try to counterattack anything you try to touch that base. That's why you always want to gain the advantage when the enemy base is deactivated instead of activated. But this one is based on one-on-one skill, so it's very easy to see both players that how they're doing, whether which one is good, which one is not the best, and they have room to improve definitely. But from the angle, I will say both of the fighter also not having the best angle to do B2B, because you can see this great problem. Let's see. Yeah, from this side you can move 1, 2, 3, 4. If there is 4 grade, definitely you can't do instant go in and go out things to siege the enemy base. So that if your base is on the left side or the right side, definitely you can do that. It's more safe for your super heavy to go in and go out, something like that. So I do another. Alright, so Alexander try to do another counter attack now. Hopefully he can use archeries, but he's not. Just try to activate the enemy base without reason. And 61 try to do a cheerleader as well, saying that this is round 4. He also not to interrupt and try to move away his super heavy. And then Tanya really do his backup, try to do some counter attack. Now his base activated and try to counter attack this Alexander. someone jump in and maybe he tried to be the backup or not. I'm not really sure. So let's see what we have here. So we have to check both of the players trying to join the team supposed to be under 150 million power to be qualified for any new member try to join the team. And then Alexander tried to do some counter attack during this Tanya defending, but Alexander just not do anything fast enough that he tried to retreat. I think this Wowo is really trying to join Team Matt now because he really trying to go in. I think that is a good things to have another members. So let's check Wowo power to make sure it's 150. So he's about 52.2 million power. Wowo joined the team of Matt, and then Alexander is 65.2. So two of them join is not above more than 150. Definitely two of them is qualified for this team. So now the situation turn. I think 61 really have to come in. But if 61 come somehow put on the left side, I think Alexander will having a lot of pressure because Alexander is the highest power people and he getting half of the HP down already. So Wowo should really do something if you want to join the team, but or maybe you want to look at those two fight their one-on-one until the end. But that will really make the decisions and the result the same. Like this Alexander already having a lot of disadvantage. So if Wowo really want to join this team, he really have to start to work something now, so that they might turn around some of the fight from disadvantage become advantage. It's okay. But if Wowo really try to do something, then 61 have to really go in now instead of letting Tanya being 2-on-1 the situations. But the main problem you can see Alexander do a lot of siege but can't really bring down Tanya base, and now Tanya base getting some pressure from Wowo. That is really a problem. Definitely 61 they already used one airlift now, so it's considered one airlift down, but he also doing savage strategy to take down Wowo. So definitely Wowo can't do the things, so maybe 61 do a very gentleman's move again. He tried to fight with this Wowo one-on-one, and so that Tanya and Alexander can continue their one-on-one instead. That's why 61 tried to hold and store and also disturb this Wowo just to make sure Wowo is not in the range. But Tanya also tried to do another thing, is helping his teammate 61 to siege down this Wowo. I think Tanya really take all his effort to help and knowing what is the best time to do what. Alexander tried to use a light tank to do some defense, but that is not very effective during Tanya base still activated. And now he's trying to do some attack and Wowo can't do the follow-up because 61 tried to store this Wowo, so he can't do the teammate 2-on-1 to siege this Tanya. And you can see Tanya base is still very brand new, about 80% above HP, and Wowo base start to go down a little bit more, and 61 base is still a brand new base that have no scratch at all. So that 61 continuously put more pressure because he know Wowo having some of the troops down, so he know that his defense is very weak. But the main thing is that he try to buy more time for Tanya, and so that he can also continuously to do his one-on-one to this Alexander. So both Alexander and Wowo really have to work something out. Not sure how they can win now, but I think the best solution for this team Matt is that Alexander try to put one of his archeries or somehow that put the team to help Wowo to siege down 61 first, because 61 is a little bit lower powers that might be easier to take down, and Tanya is a little bit too strong for them, 60 over million power. So two of them should really work some of the plan to take down 61 first, and also do some of the defense to make sure Tanya can't interrupt them, so that this 61 thinking this sandwich strategy might work, but actually is considered cut off if Team Matt they know how to do the cut off now, just to cut off two of them, so they can't do the things that to make sure that sandwich is not working. But from the team farmer, since they're already doing this sandwich, I think the best is continuously doing what they are doing now. That is the best strategy and planning they already have. Tanya continuously to pressure Alexander not to let him pressure his teammate, and so that Wowo try to help Alexander, but 61 also continuously to disturb this Wowo. So Wowo can't do a lot of things if this Alexander go down, and Alexander actually is halfway going down. He having 50% HP now, you can see from the yellow line, and they can't even take about 20% from Danya. That is unfortunately that I have to get some of my resources as well. Let's get back to the match. So I think this match is not about fairness or whatever, but it's the situations that when you sign up some of the tournaments and something happens, that is how we should adjust our strategy and how to adjust that your teammates and the time that during the tournament stay. But as long as there is someone to help your team, I think that is very good as well, even though he might not be the best teammate because he just joined you somehow. But I think the main purpose of this tournament and this match is about fun and also try to understanding how we can increase and also improve our gameplay and the skill of how we fight, because this is just a friendly tournament and friendly match, but we also take it very seriously because in the end you will receive a real prize with some real money cash, so that they might also try to work it out. But if you learn something good today, so you might use that on the next day when you try to fight your enemy, because you're already working about the same situations that when your enemy try to airdrop next to you, then what you should do, whether you want to defend and how you should defend, if you want to siege down your enemy, what you should do first and how to bring down your enemy. And these are real fight situations, so there is no like I will just head up and give you some of the free kill. That is not happening. When you're facing your enemy, definitely the enemy doesn't give you any of the free things as well. And of course, the enemy doesn't want to talk about fairness or not, because the enemy will try to attack you during your offline time, or during you try to move your base, or try to attack any time that you are unprepared and not even having your best setup. But you know, if your teammates somehow doing some sandwich like this situation, then you can see this is very good siege. They coordinate, but you also say seeing this 61 also doing very good job to continue to pressure Wowo, so they can't do a long siege to Danya, but at least they both the team met bring down Danya base another 10%. I think that's some of the achievement. Now Danya try to coordinate with 61, try to bring down Wowo even more. And Alexander tried to use his light tank again, but his light tank just can't do a lot of things. He's using archery is the maximum range he can use, but also not able to do that. I think Wu really into a deep problem. If Alexander can't support now, maybe Wu will go down very quickly. But I think yeah, that's his problem, because both of the 61 and Danya still have their super heavy on the map, so definitely they will continuously to siege and try to make Wowo very down. Now it's more than 50% HP going down. Alexander just very unprepared and thinking he really have to pressure Danya. So now he tried to use more than 2 groups and 3 groups to go about almost all in, just to make sure Danya stop, so that Wowo can have some time to rest and breathe. And 61, this is the really key person, even though he tried to be very gentle, and his base is still brand new base, you can see. And he really did the best thing, that when team farmer Danya, he really need the support, and this 61, he really know how to do it and how to make sure Danya having his best support. Try to make sure the Wowo can't interrupt Danya, and team farmer, I think they are doing very good formations and also teamworks. Now 61 and Wowo try to do a one-on-one, and Danya not very worried about it. Actually, he can really pressure some of the Wowo base, but he also seeing this Alexander try to disturb him. But actually, Danya base is activated. Definitely, he can do more than just sitting in the base. Now, finally, he tried to do something to pressure Wowo, and 61 try to do defense, and Wowo have to stop. At least this Danya really do some of the damage and try to make this Wowo stop, and also steal some of the Wowo base HP. Now 61 try to do a coordination attack as well. So Wowo make all his troops out. It's not a very good things to do. That's why I'm saying that on my new videos, you should do 1-to-1 coming out and in, so that your base continuously to attack your enemy because each time your troops going out to the base and get back to the base, all your troops and your officer will have some reset on their skill. That is not a very good thing that you should have. You should really let your officer to stay inside your base. Let them use the officer's skill as well. If you check the report, officer skill is play a very big part on the skill damage, and that is one of the success of the defense. That's why we really have to work it out, not to just always use all in or out things to make sure that your defense is not working well. Because sometimes you make sure all the troops going out, and then your troops start to die, and that will make your defense weak as well. But the problem now is that Tanya already have full troops and 61 have about half. That's why knowing that Tanya will be siege, they know Wowo is even better to sandwich him down now. Alexander tried to do a help, and finally Tanya base is not activated. At least Tanya know that, and he tried to do some retreat, and 61 know that. They try to pressure Wowo and try to do a retreat, and this Alexander just can't do anything to help because just a little bit too far away from this 61, and he also can't take down Tanya now. So I think Team Matt, they are really having some kind of a serious problem. If they can't get out of this situation now, this sandwich problem from this Team Farmer is really doing a very good job. So now they try to do a one-on-one things, but actually they activated two of the opponent's base without a very good reason. So that Tanya already have an activated base, so Alexander continuously can't do a lot of defense, but he also tried to pressure the enemy base now. Maybe it's working, maybe it's not. But 61 is doing also doing some of the one-on-one. So now you can see Alexander try to do something, but it's not much. At least 61, he base going down about 18%, but Wowo is continuously going down with his base HP, and he can't really do 1 to 2 because his powers can't really handle that. But at least he do his best to defend, and 61 having two full group dying, that at least will stop the siege at this moment. Alexander also tried to do his best, but he can't do more than that. And that is something Alexander really have to work a little bit more just to understand how to be very defensive to help your teammate. Instead of continuously activated this Tanya enemy base, that he can't do the Q to make sure the enemy troops dying. So that we're also getting a very serious problem, getting this sandwich on the problem now. If they continuously sandwich Wowo, he will going down another 3 to 5 minutes because Tanya already having the full team already. 61 is also very prepared to do the assist, but now Tanya try to do some pressure to Alexander. I think he is also trying to play very smart. He's saying that we are trying to kill Wowo first, but we also aim Alexander so that Wowo have to come out. Maybe if Wowo try to assist Alexander, and Tanya can take the defense, and so that 61 can really try to attack Wowo. So I think Tanya is playing a very smart strategy now. Now you can see he somehow provoked this Alexander, and both of them really try to activate Tanya base, and 61 really do the siege, and knowing that is the best time to do a support. So now you can see Tanya do a very good counter attack to make sure to reduce the enemy defense. Now you can see Alexander a little bit too far away to let his super heavy die without any other trees to siege, and so that his super heavy die is not worth. And now they know it's very good time to kill this Wowo because Alexander going down, Wowo alone can't do 1 to 2, and you can see Tanya doesn't use all his troops. He still have some base activated to do some auto attack, and Wowo try to defend, but definitely it's not enough because 2 to 1 is very heavy, and he's also doing some of the go in and go out. You can see his super heavy even having waste about 3 seconds or 4 seconds just to move in out and reset the super heavy's officer skill as well. And that is why we should not do that and try to delay your own defense and let your enemies having even better benefits to gain, because that is your mistake. Then this 61 knowing that it's only like 5% or 10% left on this Wowo, he really do an all-in to kill, and Tanya know that he really put his super heavy to support because his archery is going down just now just to do the siege. So Team Farmer, they have a lot of troops going down, but they trade off Wowo base down to like 5%. Now they try to use a bomber to finish the job, Maybe they can, maybe they can't, but actually this is a very huge pressure, because even though you think that the armor can't kill your base, but you know, pressure is always there. So they are using this armor to make some pressure, and then 61 and Tanya, both of them also try to recruit back the full troops. Wowo, definitely he still have his troop, and Alexander try to help, but that is not enough, because one more push, Wowo base will be going down, and Alexander, he will be alone fighting too. But definitely Wowo still have 2 airlift to come back in, but his base is just a little bit too low to do anything at all. And you can see Team Farmer, their base still as good as well. Like 61, he still have more than 90% of his base HP, and Tanya he still have more than 70% of his HP. So if continuously do the one-on-one with Tanya versus Alexander, definitely no problem. I think 61 still can sit out from this war, because Tanya definitely have this no problem. So that I think 61 will focus on take down Wowo, and Tanya will continuously to pressure Alexander for these purposes. And then I think the win rate of this Team Farmer versus Team Matt, I think Team Farmer having about 75 to 85% win rate by now, or maybe more than that actually. But the key point is still back to Alexander. If he can do a very good job at this moment, basically they can still change the outcome of this match. But I don't see that happening anytime now. That is one of the problems, because Alexander should really do more than that, because he is the point to support his teammate, because his teammate is a little bit too weak and he is the strongest one. If he can't do a big changes and big change to this match, then definitely they can't win this match. And now he have a troop, but Tanya do the match and do the step first. That is very aggressive, and they know that they can take down Wowo, and Tanya doesn't want to do that yet. I think they really try to do something here. I would say maybe not. Maybe this Tanya is trying to use his super heavy to try to play some aggressive, but definitely he tried to wait for his archeries to recruit back, and so the enemy will continuously feel the pressure that how to defend their base. Definitely Tanya not going to do the siege. He's also waiting for his teammate to have full troops. But I think 61 is also think that they are time to do the siege, maybe or maybe not, but definitely they need some time to have their full troops. And so that Wowo and Alexander, even though they have full troops already, they can't do the counter attack. That is one of the problem, because Tanya continuously puts some pressure, and so that Alexander and Wowo can't do the counter attack to kill the enemy base. Instead of continuously focus on the Tanya super heavy, that is not the winning ticket as well. So now Alexander try to do the siege to kill Tanya, but definitely if Wowo go out now, 61 will take down his base, and Tanya definitely can do the defense. Don't worry, can see 61 already do the things. Even though Wowo try to defend, but definitely Wowo base will go down at any time now. Tanya really should do the assist. Now at least he use one of the archeries, no problem. At least any assist is good as well. So Wowo already go down, definitely go back to their base is a good choice, not to waste any more troops to die for nothing. So now I think the situation may be go to 1-on-1, but no, 61 try to do the 2-on-1 as well. So let's see whether he move forward or he try to stay out. Yes, he's moved forward, so the match will become 2-1. So really have to see how Wowo to jump in to do some benefit. And Tanya really move his super heavy to his teammate, try to assist if anything happen. That is very good as well. Now you see that his teammate are having base set up already, so he doesn't really worry too much. At least do the assist to make sure his teammate are having a good positions. Now it's another sandwich about Team Farmer to sandwich Alexander alone. So I think this situation is very, very bad for Team Matt. Wowo have to do some adjustment to come back in, maybe or maybe not. But I don't think Wowo can do more than that. So maybe Wowo can jump around here so that he can support Alexander and also not too close to Tanya. And so that Alexander have to really take the pressure on 2-1. At least Wowo can on the left side, he can support Alexander, and he also try to pressure this Tanya so they can finish the job first. If Wowo jump on the top, definitely he will be die because 61 just too much HP for him to take. So if Wowo have to jump, he have to jump on the left side so that we have Wowo Now he have 2 airlift already. Still, Alexander still have 2 airlift, and then this Tanya still have 2 airlift, but 61 is 1 airlift down. So this is the current situation. And you can see they try to do a sandwich strategy, but not doing the real siege. Even though Tanya have full troops, but 61 is not ready. So I think Tanya just wait a little bit more. Also worry about that Wowo might jump in during that doing the attack. So Alexander try to do some pressure to this 61, but he's not using any archeries. Definitely he's super heavy dying for no reason, but now he's trying to use the full troops to pressure 61. So I think Tanya might have to do something now. No, he should try to send out the resources truck, but as somehow one more guy jump in from Team Matt. I think that is maybe against the rules, because definitely there are more than 150 powers that I'm not sure how I can say this, but that's why we have a lot of technician problem when you're doing some kind of custom match. Okay, let's put this stay out. So even though this is the Team Matt old teammates, but Wowo already take his base, and Team Farmer already take the effort to take down Wowo. So it's not fair to take down another base that is totally 100% base. It's not fair to Team Farmer, because you can see Alexander is already 63.9 billion power, and then this guy is about 57 billion power, and Wowo is about 50 over million power. Definitely 3 of them combined is more than 150 million power. But this 61 thinking he can take this challenge, so he want to take the challenge as well. He try to take out this guy as well. So I'm not sure if that is correct things or not, but definitely it's not fair to Team Farmer, because they are definitely lower than 150 million powers. And even though they try to do a very gentleman's move from this 61, not going to have a 2-1 to kill Alexander from the start, but now everything's just turned out a little bit I'm not sure how I can say this correctly in the words, but I think technically there's a lot of technician problems in this custom match, because everyone just try to do the things correctly, but every match we're seeing some of the problem of the technician problem. But as long we know that the main fight now is about Tanya versus this Alexander, should really make it clear. I think 61 can't see the tag, so he doesn't know this guys actually have to stay out. But now Tanya back to one-on-one on this Alexander, so Alexander really do a little bit more all in now instead of on the old time, but he still can't do a lot of damage, and Tanya base is still standing very strong, more than about 60% HP. So 61 at least stand here, he's not trying to kill Alexander, but now he tried to do that now. So maybe Tanya have to do a little bit support. Yes, that is very good teammate synchronizations. So your teammates super heavy will go down, but at least you're having 3 archery groups to do for one super heavy. So you can see bring down Alexander base about maybe 30%, just about one attack that synchronized from 2 of them. I think that is very good teamwork, because you make the move and take the action exactly the best moments that you should do, and Alexander can't do anything to stop the enemy at that particular time. And even though he killed the enemy super heavy, but the archery is not down, so he can't do counter attack. I think definitely Team Matt is a little bit too hard to come back now. I think Wu also not trying to come back now at any time, so I think he also wastes about 2 airlift that Team Matt should end either, maybe not, because we are not knowing what is happening. So that that's problem of this Team Matt having a lot of problem, but Team Farmer, even though they also doing a very good job to show the match that they're trying to fight, and also show how they can work it out with a teammate and teamwork as well. And even though not going to do that, but they also try to show us they are very okay to do a one-on-one, and Tanya to fight this Alexander one-on-one, and they still have a upper hand. So when 61 come in, I think Tanya stand very strong, because both of them very synchronize a very good timing and do the best output of the damage. I think that is good things that they're working very well from this Team Farmer. So they are not only doing the things like the Nim, they're not only farming, but they also know how to fight and how to do the coordinations and kill the enemy in the real fight. Now Alexander tried to do some defense to kill Tanya troops, but 61 and Tanya know that kill the base is the main goal, and that's how they continuously take down, and Tanya doesn't want to retreat at all. He buy more time for his teammate to take down this guy, and now Alexander have to go down, maybe not. So it's just like a few 0% of the base. The base is still not going down. That is unfortunately for Team Farmer that is not finishing the job. So Alexander know that his base will go down, so he really have to go all in now, otherwise his base go down for nothing. And the use of the farmer and also some of the super heavy finally they did that, and now they do a retreat just to do a full support. So we will have to count 1 minute from the time to make sure teammate will come in within 1 minute, otherwise that team will go down and consider defeated. So that let's do a little bit zoom out, and we still can see the name on the commander, and make sure that I won't miss anything, because the other team is on XYT2, they can't see the tag basically. So I'm not sure how to do this. I think about 30 seconds, so let's do this 30 seconds. Matt, I think now it's less than 30 seconds, so let's just put 20 seconds. Yeah, it's less than 20 seconds. So if team Matt not getting back in 20 seconds, then they're considered lost. So another 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so I think the timer is already done. I don't think team Matt they want to go back in anytime now. So I will say to team Farmer, they should be the winner of this match. So let's put the team Farmer win, and so that I think I need to use one more tag. I'm not sure which tag I can use. I think I use the star. Alright, let's do that. Star. Next team is ready, please. Alright, so we see some of the Elif back. So Alexander tried to come back to the match. I think he really missed the time on 1 minute, but I think he still can do the things, because Tanya and 61 should take him down, don't worry, because this is about 20% HP base because of the base assist. I think Alexander also tried to do his best to coming back in as soon as possible. Alright, so let's do this as soon as possible. So Tanya and 61, they know they are winning as long they just do one big push, but 61 try to retreat, and Tanya still take the damage now, so they have to coordinate a little bit further. So that is the situation now. So Alexander tried to use his light tank to do more damage to make sure the Tanya archery is not going to be a disturb, but somehow activated the base, and that is for 61. I think Tanya doing a very good job to stay out of the range, so the Alexander can't do the damage within the base range, and 61 also try to do the best to support. Now they can kill this Alexander light tank. So I think Alexander is down 1 Elif, and I think the 60 seconds is because he can't get back when the game may be stuck or something. But at least he have one teammate try to help, but that teammate also not coming back. So let's give a little bit heads up for this team Matt, so that he can continuously to try to do his best. But 1 to 2 is a little bit too hard for Alexander as well, and his base is just a little bit too low, and that won't change any situation, because Alexander is more on the defense. If he continuously to play this defense style, definitely he can't win at all, because winning is all about how you can kill the enemy base. So now Tanya and 61 really wait for the full team and do the things. Alright, so they finally do this last push. You can see 61 already do the push, and Tanya also coordinating to do the push as well. And Alexander base finally go back to 20%. Now they do the final push, So hopefully they can take down the base with enough damage, but the other trees just go down too quickly from this Alexander defense, so that we have to wait a little bit longer for those both sides to have their troops to trim back. But at least they take about 10% maybe or 8% of Alexander. So Alexander try to be very aggressive now, try to take down 61. Tanya also try to stay with his super heavy, but no, he have to retreat a little bit more. But 61 do a very good job to defend that. Alexander have to stop his siege. So Alexander continuously to do the aggressive play, but 61 exactly no worry about him. He really know how to defend, even though he not as strong as Alexander, but at least you know how to defend. You can just stop the enemy to continuously to put pressure to your base, and what you can do is that wait for your teammates to recover and do more things to come back. You can see Alexander just going in and out just like that. It's not really pushing any pressure to this 61. I think he really have to work that better to kill the enemy, because his power is 60 over millions. Definitely he can do more than that. Like Tanya, he really can kill the enemy. But alright, so Tanya know that he have to move it out to help 61 to clear this game as soon as possible. So I think that is also good move, because once he go up, become a B2B, it's more easier for Tanya to take down Alexander. So I think Alexander still have one airlift left if he still consider to come back on this match. And you can see the next contestant on the next match, they are start to going in and try to prepare. I think that is good, that to speed up what we have. So Alexander try to move now. So I'm not sure he had considered to have a surrender or not. Maybe or maybe not, because the match definitely is considered done. Alright, so now he tried to move out, and he know that the team actually decided is already finished on this match. So I think, alright, so we can finally congratulations to Team Farmer on the first match on today, day 2, and the tournament of 3 versus 3, sponsored by Godzilla. Finally, Team Farmer win the first match, and we will have a second match. So let me take a look about who is our second match. So if I'm not mistaken, I will just put the name here. Supposed to be Team Demon versus Last Minute. Alright, so I need to